Hello, this is Nathan Akpan. In this video, we want to cover the 5 steps of bondage to freedom. What are the steps that a person goes through in order to go from where they are, maybe a state of fear or bondage to a particular idea, to a breakthrough of freedom? Now, I'm going to do this by drawing and illustrating on this board. For those of you who haven't seen my introductory video to the mind, I highly recommend you search for it on this media. And if you're not on YouTube, go on YouTube and find it, because you probably can find it there. I think it would give you a good foundational idea to that, but I will try to at least have you follow along. Now, why is this video important? So many people are trapped doing what they're currently doing. They do not understand why they're doing that or why they're getting the same results. So many people try to break free to go after the life that they want, but find themselves right back where they started, unsure of what to do, unsure of why it's happening. I hope that this video is going to shed light, critical light, on that subject. All right, so we begin with an image of the mind. This I had explained in the previous video, okay? So if you don't understand what this is, watch that video, but I will try to explain it. All right, so let's start here. Let's say you are Mr. A or Mrs. A, okay? I think almost everybody can understand this stick image, all right? So there you are in your current state. What we want to call this state is a state of bondage. This is a state that represents your current position. It may not have to be, literal bondage, but what happens is that each of us is in bondage to the current idea that we hold within ourselves, because there is always a higher level of thinking that is possible. It is said that behind every knowledge is still a greater knowledge. So for all intents and purposes, where you are right now is a state of bondage, okay? If you're working that job that you hate, you're in that marriage that you hate, you're putting up with situations and conditions in your life that you absolutely dislike. Or maybe you have it good, right? But you still haven't figured out how to get to the next level. One of my mentors usually says, the only reason you're making $100,000 a year is because you haven't figured out how to make $100,000 a month. So in a sense, do you see how you're in bondage even at 100K? So it's neither good or bad, okay? It's all a learning experience in life. But this is where you are. This is your current spot, and this is bondage. Now, from understanding of our stick figure image, you have a thought in your conscious mind, okay? Let us say you're making $50,000, or let's say 100K a year as we started, okay? 100K a year is where you are, okay? You're a 100K a year person. That's what you earn, so you're comfortable earning. You're proud of earning that amount. So this top portion of the stick figure, this is your conscious mind. You're thinking, I'm a 100K a year person, okay? Your subconscious mind, which is your feeling mind, says, yeah, that's right. I feel like a 100K a year person. And because you feel like a 100K a year person, you exhibit a 100K a year behavior. You do the things that a professional, which is a pretty high level professional in America, would do, okay? And you express 100K a year action, right? Through your body. Conscious mind, subconscious, body. Now, here's what happens. You move on to stage 2. This is where it gets interesting. One day, you talk to your buddy. Your buddy says, dude, you just won't believe how nice it feels to be making $250, right? And I think you can make $250 also. And all of a sudden, you have an idea. you start thinking, maybe perhaps I could make 250, right? Now you have entered the stage of reason. You're entertaining this idea. I could make 250. Wouldn't that be nice? But here's the thing. In your subconscious mind, which is your feeling mind, which is your emotional mind, which is the real you. This holds your core programming. You are programmed as a 100K a year person. Regardless of what you think, you could see yourself as a millionaire if you wanted to. But your subconscious mind says, dude or gal, I'm a 100K a year person, and you very well know that. You're like, yeah, that's true. And so you continue to express 100K a year behavior. You're dreaming of up to 50, but all you're getting is 100K emotion. That's who you are. That's what your programming is handling. And so you're acting in the same way that is consistent with this program in your subconscious mind, right? So that very simply explains this state of reason, okay? Where you see people who start dreaming, but nothing really changes in their life, right? Every year they see you and they say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to get that new job, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to change my life someday, you know? But because your core programming, you could substitute this for anything. It doesn't have to be money. But their core programming is still the same as if they were in congruence. This is the sweet spot, because what you think, what you feel, and the way you act are in alignment. As a matter of fact, the Buddha described that as basically peace and congruence, right? When what you feel, think, feel, and act are in alignment. Right now, this is what happens. You're not in alignment with who you are, right? You are not in alignment with this idea. Now, I want to take it one step up, and I want to kind of maybe hopefully illustrate this in a slightly different way. So here you are in bondage. Let's call this a Y-type idea. 250 is a Y-type idea. 100. 100 is a Y-type idea, so you're in congruence, right? Now, you move over here, and you start dreaming of 250. 250 is an X-type idea, right? And you still have your Y-type idea in your subconscious mind. This is the thing. You still express Y-type behavior. No problem. Okay? As far as that thing up there. Oh, and by the way, you still have your Y-type idea there, because in reality, in order for you to impress this, that original idea is still there. You just have something else, in the same room as it. No problem. They can live together. No big deal. Now, we move on to the next stage. Okay? This is the stage where you really start dreaming of that 250. You really start dreaming, maybe I could be a speaker. Maybe I could be a writer. Maybe I could make something out of my life. Although my daddy, my mommy, and everything that I've gone through says I cannot. Although I'm programmed in a Y-type way. Maybe I could have this X-type idea. You really start getting emotionally involved with that idea. You start, what I would like to call romancing this idea. And what happens is an idea repeatedly expressed over time starts seeping into our subconscious. They say, call a person a fool long enough, he'll start believing it. Right? Hitler used that on people. He knew it. Okay, so here's what happens. All of a sudden, this is your standard Y-type idea. You start having an X-type idea starting to seep in. I'm going to make this big enough because it doesn't indicate anything else. Now you have this guy in there with this dude, the original homeowner, right? And guess what they do? Because the body can only express what is in your subconscious mind, you get confused. The body doesn't know, okay, am I an X or am I a Y? What the heck? And now you start having conflict. You start having what in psychology we call cognitive dissonance, because what you're thinking and what you're feeling are not in harmony, and these two ideas are fighting. You have become emotionally involved with this idea, and it's starting to maybe want to seep into your subconscious, and this guy is not having it, right? And you start behaving. Some days you behave, let's go back to the money. Some days you behave like a 100K a year person. Some days you behave like a 250 a year person. Maybe you make extra calls or whatever, and you're conflicted. Or maybe one day you say, yeah, I'm going to go take that speaker training. And the next day you're like, you know what? I don't really have what it takes. Mommy was right. I'd never be anything. And you start bouncing back between two opinions, and you're really conflicted. That is what is happening, is that the fact that this stage is called conflict, by the way. The fact that you have become emotionally involved with an idea that is conflicting with your self-image starts messing things up. Okay? Before, when it was just over here, it was good. So, you entertain this idea. And then one day you decide, you know what? I'm going to go do that thing. I'm going to go become that speaker. I'm going to go register. I'm going to sign up for a free speech in my local community, and I'm going to get my neighbors to come sit down and listen. Or I'm going to go write that book. Or I'm going to go buy that house that I've always been wanting to buy. Or get that job. I know I'm overqualified for it. I'm going to go get it. Right? I'm going to quit my job and start my business. This is what happens. As soon as you make the effort to go do something with this mind, right? You run into a wall. Some of my friends call it the terror barrier. In psychology, it's also called, you face what we call a transformational dilemma. And you run into this wall and you bounce back. And that is basically, in life, this is what happens. You have that interview, you start freaking out, you sweat, you have palpitations, you have tingling, numbing. Some people get really ill so they can avoid the situation that is coming up, this awkward situation that they're about to put themselves in. Maybe it's a decision to get married. There's some guys who break out in cold sweat just because they do not want that commitment, because there is a script in their subconscious mind that says, dude, maybe women are dangerous, or people will leave you, or you've always been alone as a kid, or whatever that script is. And now look at me trying to get married? And voila, on the day of you have that movie, The Runaway Bride, and she ran off, right? But on the day of their wedding, or 2 days before their wedding, they get sick. They can't move, right? The subconscious is trying to create this order in your life. And so it's going to try to sabotage everything else that you do. This is how fear works. It is expressed as fear. It is expressed, right? In your mind, you feel fear, right? In your body, you feel anxiety, the physical symptoms of it. And so when you make this attempt to do something that you've never done before, that is not consistent with your self-image, you bounce back on this barrier. If this is not changed, if your self-image in that script that you have written does not change to be this X that you want, this new state, you will always bounce back on your terror barrier. You will always fail that question for your transformation, that transformational dilemma. And that is why they say in order to have something, you have to first be something. In order to be a winner, you have to act like a winner. But here's the thing, you cannot act like a winner if your programming is that of a loser. So you have to change this base programming such that it's all consistent. And when that happens, what happens is that you are able to break through from this barrier. Now, you might ask, okay, Nathan, how do we change our core programming? How do we change this base programming? This programming that says maybe I'm not good enough. How can I change that to I am deserving? There's certain things that needs to happen. Number one, you will have to employ, first thing is actually awareness. Awareness and understanding is the key to change. You cannot change something if you do not know it needs changing. You cannot escape a prison if you do not know that you are in bondage. So you need to be aware of where you are and gain a fresh set of ideas, a new set of tools, knowledge. You have to study. You have to invest in yourself, because it is by so doing that you are able to overwrite this programming. And it's going to fight you. It's going to resist change, because that's just how it works, right? So awareness and study and repetition of a new idea. You have to repeat this idea long enough, right? This why is always going to be there to start. But the more you repeat this idea long enough, or your new set of ideas with your new set of knowledge, a new set of awareness, new set of instructions, slowly this other why, the old idea, the old paradigm, the old image starts to fade away. And as you do that, the strength of this knowledge will give you the ability to express behavior that can break through this terror barrier. Sometimes people are able to break through with this old programming. But if you do not in a hurry change, you're coming right back. And that is why Jim Rohn says if someone gives you $1 million, best you become a millionaire real quick. Otherwise, you're going to lose it. It is the reason why people win the lottery and they lose that money like that, because they do not have the consciousness of a wealthy person. And so it is important, in order to change your life, you have to change your paradigm. In order to overcome any fear in your life, you have to start being the person who is not afraid of that thing. Okay? You have to start using these tools. And another tool for your arsenal is the use of your imagination. Okay? If you can imagine yourself and visualize yourself being that which you want to be, it is one way to start breaking down the resistance. But it takes time, and it takes repeated study and a commitment to change your core programming. So I hope that this makes sense. And now when you get here, this is freedom. Everything is congruent. This is you acting the way you want to act as a 200K a year person, or whatever it is you want to create. This is when you have broken free from bondage, okay, to freedom. But here's the kicker. When you get to freedom, it just lasts long enough for you to celebrate, because automatically that becomes your new bondage. And that is why the very essence of life is growth. We have to keep growing from where we are. And it takes just as much effort to break through from here, from this 250, to get to that $1 million mark, right? To get to that new concept of ourselves, or that new idea. So we have to consistently keep growing in order to continually evolve and break through the barriers that we face. Now, just as a simple quick plug, I do have a program and I do have a course that we deliver in my company that helps people pass through these stages rather rapidly. You can try to do it in yourself. A lot of study will get you there, but you're going to make a lot of mistakes along the way. So if you need a guided process of being able to transition through these phases, from being able to see yourself as I've always been an employee my whole life, to, oh my God, this is my real dream of doing something, we have steps that will help you, give you the right knowledge, give you the right support to help you break through this terror barrier as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, I hope you understand this concept: bondage, reason, conflict, and freedom. Those are the steps that are necessary. These things happen even in microseconds, even in micro moments, when you're facing a decision to go talk to that person across the room, when you're facing that decision to ask the client for more money, or whatever the case is. Usually when we're doing something new, we face these micro moments, right? The more significant the event is, the more noticeable these are. But nonetheless, you experience it anyways. So I hope you found this video helpful. My name is Nathan Akpan. I hope you watch the rest of the videos on this site. Please feel free to leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions about this topic. And no matter what, be the best you can be.